So I'm very tired, which is why I'm drinking a Red Bull. But I already prepped my eyes and my eyebrows, and we're gonna get through this. So I used my Urban Decay Eden Primer as I always do. And if you're interested in how I do my brows, I do have a video on that. I'll link it up at the top bar or also in the description. But the palette that we're going to use is the JaclynHill and Morphe palette. So I'm going into this light brown first, and I'm going to put this in my crease, blending it up towards the brow bone. This is going to be our transition shade, and you want to make sure to concentrate that all the way to the inner corner, all the way to outer corner, and we are actually going to wing out our shadow for this look. So I'm just going to dust that all the way out and then bring it down towards my lower lash line to wing it out. Now dipping into this red shade, we're going to trace where I want this to be. So I'm first going to place it down in the outer V and then put this into my crease, but pretty much just carving out where I want the color to be. It's extremely pigmented, so I'm just going step by step. I'm not putting too much product on because you don't want it to get messy really quick, and that can happen sometimes. So I'm just going to trace out where I want the color to be all the way to the inner corner, and then again winging it out in the outer V. And I'm going to start to build this color up little by little. I go back in with that first brush that we used for our transition shade and just blend the edges. I want them to be nice and diffused and blend together so there's not any harsh lines. Now we're going into this burgundy purple shade, taking the same brush, and I'm just going to pack on the color onto my lid and bring it up into that crease, blending it into the reddish shade that we placed down. Again, just take your time with this, put a little color on, and then, build up the intensity. We are still keeping that same shape. We're going to wing this shade out as well as the others. And you just want to take your time blending the shades together just so it has a nice gradient effect. When blending the shade into that reddish tone, you want to keep it somewhat lower because you don't want to blend it too high and lose that reddish tone that we did place down prior. So I do take a smaller detailed blending brush just to keep it just below the red line and still blend out and diffuse that edge. One more time, I'm going in with that first brush and just going to diffuse the edge a little bit more because we want this to be nice and blown out. So I'm just blending those tones again into that first transition shade. You can definitely dip back into that first brown tone to diffuse the edge if that's a little bit easier for you. And if it wasn't dark enough, I do go back into that burgundy shade and pack on a little more color because I want it nice and dramatic. And just when you think we're done and you can't get any darker, we're going to pack on some dark shimmer browns right on top of that purple. So I'm taking my MAC synthetic brush, which is, I believe, is the 242, and we're going to pack this right on top of that purple tone and blend them in together. You can totally skip this step and just keep it all matte, but I gotta be extra and pack on some shimmer. To clean up any fallout, just take a makeup wipe and wipe it off That's why I love doing the eyes first, because if you have any fallout, it's an easy fix and cleanup. And we're just going to also sharpen the edge of our shadow. So it's a nice little tip to do your eyes first if you like. I always prefer it just so you don't ruin any foundation or concealer that you may have placed down. For lashes, I go in with my House of Lashes Noir Fairy Black, and I'm using this Luxie Lash glue to put them on. I do have a video also on how I apply lashes, so I will link that down below just as well. I go in with my favorite face primer, of course, the Dr. Brandt Pores No More, and for the foundation, I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus. One's too light and one's too dark, so I did mix them together and put that on my face, as you saw. And I do like this foundation. I think it's a great foundation, extremely affordable, and it gives great coverage and looks great in photos. I think it's about $7, so you can't really beat that. And it has a nice matte finish. And it does last all day. So if you haven't tried it, I recommend picking this guy up and give it a try. A little tip for people that have drier skin like myself: when applying the foundation, just put the foundation in your problem areas. For me, my problem areas that are more dry are like underneath my eyes, around my nose, and upper lip. So I don't apply foundation there. I pretty much just conceal with my concealer, because if I put the foundation down and then put concealer and then powder, it can get cakey really quickly. So I just concentrate the foundation mostly on like my cheek, chin, and forehead, and then we'll go ahead and cover up the other areas with concealer. So now what I'm doing first is going to conceal my under eyes, or I'm sorry, I'm going to correct my under eyes with my Urban Decay Peach Corrector, and we'll blend that out for each one, and then I'll go ahead and go in with my concealer, which is the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer, and apply that as well. I'm going to place the concealer on the side of my nose and create an upside down triangle. Then I'm going to blend this out with my beauty sponge. I'm concentrating most of the color onto my cheek and then doing it up towards my brow bone. I'm not placing most of the product underneath my lower lash line, because again, with drier skin, that area can get a little cakey, so I want to concentrate most of the product onto the cheek, and then whatever's left over, I will blend up towards my lower lash line and on my upper lip and chin. I'm just highlighting the rest of my face, putting some on my nose and blending it out, and also the center of my forehead. To set my concealer in place, I'm actually going to use an old powder that I haven't used in a while. As you know, I usually go with my RCMA No Color Powder. It's better for drier skin, but I wanted to go back to this and give this a try again. Usually with drier skin, you don't want to bake the under eye, but as long as you place it down and then don't keep it on too long, it's not as bad as you think, or at least for me it's not. So you just gotta see what works best for you. But I go ahead and I bake my under eyes for a little bit and set that concealer, and then dust any of the remaining powder on the rest of my face to set my foundation. I'm just going to give my face a quick spray just to melt that powder in with the foundation before we go in with bronzer, blush, and all the rest of that jazz. So for bronzer, I'm using the Becca Sunlit Bronzer in Capri Coast. I love this bronzer. It gives a beautiful natural glow to the skin. As you saw in the pan, it does look shimmery, but don't let that bother you. It really doesn't have a lot of shimmer when you apply it to the skin. It just has a very natural sun-kissed glow, which I love about it. So I'm just placing this on my forehead, and then we're actually going to go in and contour before we bronze up the rest of the face. And I'm going to use my Makeup Geek contouring powder in Infidelity. I think I've mentioned this before, but you want to go in with a very light hand with this powder. It is extremely, extremely pigmented. I literally dipped my brush in once and I could contour both sides of my face and my jawline. So that's all you need is very little powder. So I'm going to place the contour down first, and then I go in with my NARS Ita Brush to blend the contour out. Taking that same Becca bronzer, we're going to blend that into the contour and also bronze up our neck and jawline. Now I'm going to take this blush from Tarte, which is, I think, Breathtaking. It's just a neutral tone blush. It has a little bit of shimmer in it, but I just wanted to keep the blush light just because the eyes are so dark, so I didn't want to do anything too pink. I wanted to keep it on the neutral side. So I'm just going to apply that to the apples of my cheeks and blend it into the bronzer. I'm going in with my well-loved MAC Emphasized Shaping Powder and going to brighten up my under eyes. This is a must for me. I do this every time I do my makeup. It just really lifts up the eyes and brightens that area up. You can definitely skip this step, but I always have to do this when I do my makeup. We will come back to the face, but first I want to finish the eyes. So we're going to work on the lower lash line. Take any black hole liner that you have and place that in your waterline, and you want to bring it slightly down in between the lashes. And we're going to take that darkest shade that we used and place that directly under the lash line closest to your lashes. And then we're going to go in with a pencil brush and take that reddish tone and blow this shadow out and make it very smoky. Make sure to connect the outer corner to the top so it has a nice, ongoing line. You don't want it to be cut off and not connect from bottom to top. Just going to coat my bottom lashes. I prefer now using a waterproof mascara. This just helps it from running and going onto your cheeks. So you can always use waterproof and your bottom lashes will stay all day. Now I'm going in with a very old product that you don't really hear about anymore. It's the Stila Kitten highlight. And I was just going through my drawers and I'm like, I haven't used this in a while, so I'm actually going to use it for today. So I placed that on my cheeks, and then to be a little extra, I went in with the Kylie Loose Highlight in Fiji and placed that just at the very top of my cheekbone, just to give it a very bling highlight right there. And I also place it in the inner corners of my eye and on my Cupid's bow and a little bit on my nose. After doing that, I do go in with a duo fiber brush just to soften up the highlight a little bit and blend the bronzer and contour in just to make everything nice and seamless. Yay, now we're on to lips. The hardest choice to ever make when you do a look, I feel like. So I went through a couple different colors because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Went in with this color, then I went in with bow and arrow. And all in all, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do Whirl. I haven't worn it in a while, and I was feeling it. So I'm going to line my lips with the Whirl pencil first, and then I'm going to go in with the lipstick and apply that all over my lips as well. One last time to set the makeup all in place, I'm going to use my hydrating mist from Peachy, and then once you do that, your look is complete. So this is the final result. I hope you guys did like it. This is one fall look out of many that I will be doing. It's my favorite time of year, so I definitely love creating these looks. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.